I have the Knicks, which, this was tough because I think you could go with, if people still think that RJ Barrett's not a legit cornerstone prospect, then yes, it's him. I know his efficiency is all over the place, but we've seen him like take control of games as he's been given the ball more. And I think there's another level as a facilitator. We've seen his spot up, his set 3-point shooting improve as the season has gone on after that cold start. His volume at the rim, ever since I think Fred Katz of The Athletic wrote about this New Year's Eve, has been among the highest in the league. There's a really good NBA player there, and I think it's clear that he's going to be a really good NBA player. So I did not pick him, even though I think some Knicks fans would make a case. I didn't pick Julius Randle, even though he's played better in recent weeks. I need fewer self-created Julius Randle everythings. Let's get this man being used as like a roller. I kind of thought about going with Nerlens Noel because he was so good last year and hasn't really played this year. And people are now wanting to talk about him as this contract albatross. I don't actually know if it's any of the kids. They might be underrated in the sense that they're not old enough for Tom Thibodeau to love them the way that he would some other players. And I don't know if you saw this quote the other day from Tibbs where he said, we're playing young guys more than anyone else in the league. Did you see that?
No.
That was a real thing that he said, which is just laughable, even if they have gone the developmental route more recently. And I just don't think that we've seen enough from a McBride or a Grimes to say it's them. We haven't even seen Obi Toppin's probably underrated in the building. Tibbs should be playing him more. I also wanted to kind of pick the idea of Julius Randle, Obi Toppin playing together as my underrated pick for the Knicks because Tibbs won't do that. I'm actually going to pick Alec Burks because once he was forced, let's make that clear. This is not him begging to be the point guard. But once the Knicks decided that he was going to play more point guard or in these lineups that demanded he operate as a pseudo point guard, things got bad. And I know that he can't finish like a layup to save his life right now. But this was someone who last year for parts of this season was, let's go to the phrase mission critical again, to New York's outside shot making, to what they would do in the fourth quarter and crunch time. He no longer is that. I feel like because he's miscast and this team also kind of sucks. So there's still a really good NBA player in there. And I don't think you look at him being on the books for slightly more than mid-level money. That's not something that's I don't want to say sunk cost. That's not an overpay to me. He is someone who helps a team that doesn't suck. And there's a difference between being able to make a team that sucks good and just amplifying a team that doesn't suck. He can do the latter where, yeah, there is some like secondary shot creation there, but he also fits into a larger ecosystem as an outside shot maker as well. But also, again, he can do some secondary stuff on the ball. And I sort of feel like because the Knicks season has gone off the rails and we've seen him suffer as a result, and I wouldn't put it all on him. I feel like we've just kind of forgotten, like, this guy is a really helpful NBA player. The Knicks are just, the obstacle this season was they couldn't get out of their own way and they were just never able to. And they're doing the right thing now by playing more of the youngsters, and we'll see what they do over the offseason. But I think that Alec Burks is still someone who is good and can help teams that already have an identity, and an identity that is sufficient, where it's not, let's just rely on Julius Randle too much.
That's a lot more well thought out than I could have mustered for the Knicks. I probably would have said Barrett just for the reason you said, which is that if you do catch him, he's still so young, but if you catch him on certain nights, it is very clear that like he's someone you can give the ball and say, we need to try to win this game. And he kind of can do it. Not consistently, but that'd be a big ask for someone that's still this inexperienced. Quick tangent, quick aside, because I know you follow the Knicks more than I do. What's up with Immanuel Quickley? Is he a rotation player on a good team? Like eventually, you think you're nodding very convincingly.
When you look at the aesthetics of his game, and I don't want to be this, don't look at the numbers, but it's the second season of his career. And I'm more inclined to take that route to the first two seasons of a player's career. When you look at the aesthetics of his game, from how comfortable he is pulling up off the bounce, how long his threes are from deep, that floater he can take on a dime, and some of the passes that he's made, or at least the havoc he creates when he's going downhill, which will open up passes into the future. I think there's even been studies done, but I know there are a lot of smart people who are of the mind that playing time in games does not equate to actual development. I think this is a classic case of, if he had more agency for the entire season, we would be seeing a much better version of Immanuel Quickley than we do now. There might still be some of those wild, turbulent peaks and valleys, but he has been on these, until recently, these weirdo, inexplicably quick hooks for Tibbs. And when you look at the aesthetics of his game, just what he can do on offense, that is someone who can inflict hell upon set defenses. And I don't know how good he's going to be. Would I say he's a starter in this league? I don't know. But like, if you're asking me, is he going to be better than Jordan Clarkson, have a better career arc than Jordan Clarkson? I'm going to say yes.
Yeah. I think one thing with him, the depth of the threes is huge. And you pair that with, he makes 90% of his free throws. So, you know, he's not shooting great from deep, 34%, I think so far, but his willingness to shoot the deep ones and his free throw stroke, I think, suggests that at some point he's going to be a guy that, well, whatever his minutes are, he's going to be able to get up a lot of threes and make a lot of threes. And whatever else happens, I think that's in the cards for him.